AI does not reduce work, it redesigns it. One of the most common expectations leaders have when introducing artificial intelligence is that work will decrease. Tasks will be automated, time will be freed, efficiency will improve, and eventually some of that does happen, but not in the way most organizations expect. Because artificial intelligence does not initially reduce work, it redesigns it. That distinction is important because when leaders expect immediate workload reduction and instead experience a shift in how work feels, they may interpret that shift as friction rather than transformation. Before AI enters an organization, work is often distributed across people in ways that are partially structured and partially adaptive. Employees compensate for gaps, managers reconcile inconsistencies, decisions are clarified through conversation rather than process. That human adaptability creates a sense of continuity even when workflows are inefficient. AI changes that dynamic, not by removing effort immediately, but by relocating it. Manual effort begins to decrease. Cognitive effort begins to increase. Employees spend less time producing raw output and more time evaluating, guiding, correcting, and integrating AI-generated contributions. That transition can feel heavier, not lighter, because producing is familiar. Supervising thinking, even machine thinking, is a different form of work entirely. Consider a team that introduces AI-assisted drafting. Previously, employees spent significant time creating content from scratch. After AI adoption, the time required to produce a first draft decreases dramatically, but the work does not disappear, it shifts. Employees now evaluate tone, verify accuracy, refine structure, and ensure alignment with organizational intent. The nature of effort changes from generation to judgment, and judgment is cognitively demanding. This is why many employees describe early AI adoption as mentally tiring, even when productivity metrics improve. They are not working less, they are working differently. Another example appears in decision-making workflows. AI can surface options faster, summarize information more efficiently, and highlight patterns that would otherwise remain hidden. But faster information does not eliminate decision responsibility. It intensifies it. Leaders must now interpret outputs, validate relevance, and determine how insights translate into action. Decision latency may decrease, but decision accountability becomes more visible. That visibility can feel like increased pressure, not because more work exists, but because ambiguity is reduced. AI compresses time between information and decision, and that compression changes leadership experience. There is also a coordination shift that organizations often overlook. When AI increases individual productivity, dependencies between roles become more apparent. Bottlenecks that were previously masked by slower output suddenly become visible. One team produces faster. Another team struggles to integrate the increased volume. Communication expectations shift. Work has not increased, but coordination complexity has. This is why organizations sometimes experience the paradox of feeling busier after AI introduction despite measurable efficiency gains. The system is reorganizing itself around new capability. And reorganization is effortful. There is also an emotional component. Employees often associate automation with relief, so when work feels cognitively heavier rather than lighter, uncertainty emerges. Am I doing this correctly? What is my role now? What does good performance look like when AI participates in the process? These questions are not technical, they are behavioral. And until they are addressed, AI adoption can feel destabilizing even when performance improves. The key insight for leaders is this: AI reduces mechanical effort before it reduces cognitive effort. Over time, as workflows stabilize, cognitive demand decreases as well. But in the early stages, cognitive load temporarily increases because individuals are learning to supervise, interpret, and collaborate with a new form of capability. Organizations that misunderstand this transition often conclude that AI is creating complexity, In reality, AI is revealing the cognitive work that was previously distributed invisibly across individuals. And visibility can feel like expansion even when the total effort is declining. The most successful organizations navigate this shift intentionally. They prepare employees not just for tool usage, but for role evolution. They clarify expectations around judgment, oversight, and decision-making. They redefine productivity to include evaluation and refinement, not just output generation. And they create space for learning so that temporary cognitive strain does not become long-term resistance. Another important reframe is recognizing that AI accelerates feedback loops. Mistakes surface faster, inconsistencies become visible sooner, opportunities for improvement appear earlier. This acceleration can create the sensation of increased activity, but it is actually increased awareness, and awareness is the foundation of improvement. Leaders who communicate this distinction help employees interpret discomfort as adaptation rather than overload. There is also a strategic advantage hidden inside this redesign of work. When mechanical effort decreases, human contribution shifts toward areas where judgment, context, empathy, and prioritization matter most. That shift elevates the nature of work rather than diminishing it. But elevation requires support. Without guidance, employees may interpret the shift as loss of competence rather than expansion of responsibility. Leadership clarity determines which interpretation prevails. Perhaps the most important perspective leaders can adopt is this: AI does not remove the need for human effort. It reallocates that effort toward higher leverage thinking. And higher leverage thinking initially feels slower, heavier, and less familiar. But it is also where the greatest organizational value resides. If AI feels like it is increasing workload inside your organization, it may be worth examining whether what is increasing is effort or awareness, because awareness often feels like work before it feels like progress. The goal is not immediate relief. The goal is sustainable redesign. When organizations accept that work will feel different before it feels easier, resistance decreases and learning accelerates. And once workflows stabilize, the reduction in effort becomes real, measurable, and repeatable. AI does not promise less work. It promises better aligned work. And alignment is what ultimately creates scalability, clarity, and leadership capacity. If your organization is experiencing this transition and work feels different rather than easier, a structured discovery process can help clarify where effort is shifting and how to support teams through that evolution. If you would like to explore how AI may be redesigning work inside your organization and how to guide that transition intentionally, you can schedule your free AI strategy consultation using the link below. We will examine role evolution, workflow redesign, and how to transform early cognitive strain into long-term operational leverage.